Most of us are here, so welcome again. And thank you for making the time to join us today and for being part of our People Partner for Good program. So your commitment to that journey is already a testament to your dedication in strengthening HR practices. And we're super happy to support you on the journey and every step on the way. I'm Elizabeth. Most of you I met already. I'm the program manager at the Personio Foundation, where I mostly oversee our non-financial support offerings in regards to HR for nonprofits. And I'm also joined by Anna today, who will introduce herself shortly. So yes, as I said, I have the pleasure to speak with most of you already, but today we'll start also with a quick introduction to the Personio Foundation again and how we can make a difference together. And we'll then revisit the purpose of the People Partner for Good program to ground us in why we are here. And from there, we'll dive deeper into your role and responsibilities as mentee, outline also some timeline ideas, and walk you through resources we've prepared to make that journey a success. And of course, we also want to leave some time for your questions and the next steps. So if you have already questions during this session now, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll address them in the end, or if we don't have time, we will also follow up, of course. Cool. And with that, I'll hand over to Anna.
Thanks, Elizabeth. First of all, good morning, everybody. It's really good to see you. I see some familiar faces and names. So for those of you who know us already, bear with me. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Personio Foundation. My name is Anna. Like Eli said, I'm based in Berlin, just like her, and I've been leading the Personio Foundation for the last 2-3 years. We've actually been founded only 3 years ago. And so our mission is to drive innovation for people and planet. What that translates into is, on one side, we're making grants. We're always doing unrestricted multi-year grants because we believe not only in projects, but mostly in the organizations and in the people who are driving the organizations. We want them to flourish and develop, and we believe that's only possible if you have some unrestricted funding. So far, we've made over 3 million in donations or in grants so far. Till the end of the year, it's going to be around 4 million. But that's not the only thing we do. So the grant making is one piece, and you see our portfolio organizations in the bottom. The other piece is why we're here today. It's our non-financial program. When we started looking into the sector, we saw that there's so many foundations out there who give support in strategy, in fundraising, and in whatnot. I've seen very few foundations or partners who actually focus on HR and who actually focus on helping organizations develop themselves. And because we have some background from Personio itself, which develops an HR software and built an extremely rapidly scaling organization by itself, we said, like, how can we leverage the expertise that is within Personio and within our broader network to help NGOs thrive with HR? And so what we're doing, and some of you might be already familiar with the programs, is we have an online learning platform. We call it the HR Accelerator. Basically, there's a lot of different classes, templates, and short courses to introduce the basics of HR around what we call the employee lifecycle. So from recruiting people, through managing them, onboarding them, helping them perform, and eventually maybe leave the organization. The second one is why we're here today. It's our mentorship program. And lastly, the third one is what we call conversations. Sometimes it's a very dedicated short conversation. We call it HR to go. It's a format of 15 to 20 minutes you can listen to in the morning. Sometimes we have more extended seminars where we talk, for example, about how to give feedback across different cultures. And we invite experts to help us do these kind of talks. You can always watch them online. We have the video recordings online. You can find them through our accelerator, through our YouTube platform. I'm mentioning this in so much detail because we want this to be a resource for you. And as you're starting the mentorship journey, there's always your mentor, but there's also more resources we already have online. Or if there's something you cannot find and you think they should actually have a template for this, you can always reach out to Elizabeth or myself, because sometimes we have more content ready. It's just not published. So this is an invitation. With that being said, let's talk quickly just a few minutes about the mentorship program we're here for today. We call it People Partner for Good. Essentially, what we're trying to do is recruit experienced HR leaders, either from the private sector or the nonprofit sector. We have both. But some people who've been there before, who've been in your positions before, and who've navigated through this, to volunteer some of their time and partner up with organizations just like yours to just think through some of the HR headaches you might have. So far, we have 35 matches, and we have them on very different levels. Like sometimes we match the executives of smaller organizations with an HR leader because they don't yet have a person who's dedicated to HR. And sometimes we match the HR managers, like most of you in the calls are there, with HR leaders with experience, right? We have a roster of HR mentors that are still available. I think some of you are already matched. The rest we will match very soon. And we want you guys to form a trusted relationship over time. The mentors dedicate 1 to 2 hours minimum per month. We say 2 to 3 hours per month for you. And they're there to advise you. They're not there to do your work. You will know best how to do your work. They're there to share experiences, share how they've done it, and listen to you and understand really like how can their experience influence the situation that you're in right now. With that being said, we have a couple of testimonials also from people where it has worked really well. One match we've seen is between Grace and Natalie. Natalie is the director of the HR business partnering at Typeform. I think a bunch of you might have used Typeform, the online tool. Typeform is a pretty big organization. They've scaled very rapidly. And Natalie has been really, really involved in helping Grace, who's leading a smaller scale NGO in Kenya. The match has been valuable for both sides. Natalie has told us like she's really, really loved working with Grace because it has opened her eyes to different contexts, to a different need. Sometimes she says it's one of her favorite pieces of the work in the month that she's doing. But also Grace has told us that simply having a regular report with Natalie already helped her just being committed to making the kind of changes that she needs in the organization. We have more testimonials like that. You can always find them on the website, or I think Ili's always happy to tell you more stories. But with that being said, Ili, over to you and tell us more about how the mentorship will work.
Yes, thank you so much, Anna. Now let's talk about your role in this program and how you can make the most out of it. So basically, what I also always know from my career, that somebody's in the driver's seat. So I would say you are really in the driver's seat of this mentorship journey. Your mentor is really there to guide you and to support you, but the success of the program also depends on your preparation, the engagement, and also your action. So really start, or maybe you started already, reflecting on your HR challenges and goals right in the beginning, but I would also recommend to do it before each session and what you really want to achieve or do in the next 1 to 2 months, or also on long term if it really pays into your goals of your organization. Then also be honest, be open, and also proactive. So be open about the process and also the advice you get, but also if you have questions or if the context of your organization doesn't match with the experience, try to explain it and ask for clarification where needed. And I think you can always ask for advice, implement that advice, but also if something doesn't work, iterate with your mentor alternatives and also discuss how they can succeed. As Anna said, the mentor is not there to take any operational tasks, but guide you towards the solution. And also one thing I want to highlight is that our mentors are not only amazing HR experts with a lot of expertise, we've met them all already, and they truly invested in making a difference and helping you to succeed. So it's a great opportunity to learn from their experience and also collaborate with somebody who really wants to support you. One last thing, we also recommend to directly in the beginning commit to regular check-ins, put them into your calendar, and from the very beginning on, that also helps you to give structure and accountability on the process. So we brought that also into like a small timeline. It's like a general timeline. It runs from 6 to 12 months or even beyond if you think it's a really great match and both profit from it, but it's also designed to be flexible. Of course, first is the first step with a get to know call. take the time to explain your organization, also your mission, and to explain your HR context you're in. And yeah, one thing, of course, it must be a personal match as well on a personal level. So if it doesn't feel right, please let us know. That's always something that's not in our hand. We try our best to match you, but we always can coordinate a new pairing, of course. Then also set expectations from both sides. So discuss the goals, but also expectations for future meetings and agenda points, for example. And you can see it here on the 3 and 6 month mark. We will send out short surveys to ask about your feedback. So please complete these feedback forms that helps us at the Personio Foundation also to measure the program's impact and also improve it further. And please feel free also to share really constructive feedback, what you wish for. That's where we really get the best thing out of it for you. Overall, at the 6 month mark or latest at the 12 month mark, revisit your initial goals, adapt them if needed, and also, of course, celebrate achievements along the way. You can also share it with us. That's always good to know, and for the mentor as well. So here's a typical monthly schedule. I will quickly run over it, but you will find that later on also in your mentee guide. The mentorship can include monthly or bi-weekly meetings, or it can also depend on your needs. It can also be that you schedule one workshop or like a deep dive into a specific HR topic for over half a day, for example. That's something the mentor is also invested to. And in another month, maybe there's no capacity or you don't really have a follow-up questions. Of course, you can skip the meeting and just communicate via email or WhatsApp if needed. But the key is really to maintain the structure and accountability. So use also an agenda template we provide to keep track and follow up on the next steps, that it doesn't really fade out also if you skip 1 month, for example. Talking about the agenda template and the resources we have to help you. Anna already mentioned the HR Accelerator. With that platform, you can always check templates or basic knowledge and courses around the HR or employee lifecycle, basically. And then we have our mentee guide. It's a Notion page where you can find sample questions or use cases, when to contact your mentor and what you can ask and how to start it, but also how to structure your mentorship program, and also, and again, the template, which you can use. You don't have to, of course. As said, if you have feedback, please let us know. Maybe others can profit from it as well, and that's the best thing that can happen, I guess. All right. Again, setting you up for success and how you can prepare yourself. As you can see, and maybe already feel, there's a lot to do before the first meeting, but we hope this call also helps you to prepare already, to think about your goals, your questions to your mentor. And before the first meeting, take time to maybe also prepare, or maybe you have it already, a short overview of your organization, on your mission, which environment you operate in, but also on your team size and which current HR processes you have in place or you want to work on, and which questions you have. So not during the meeting or not 1 hour before, maybe you take 1 or 2 days before to sit down before you meet your mentor the first time. And then when it started, take notes throughout the journey. If needed, create an action plan, but that's also something where your mentor can help you with. And be open and curious about new practices and guidance, because your new HR or your mentor is your new HR sparrings partner to really bounce off ideas and think through maybe some people headaches you have on top of your mind. All right, I rushed now through that. We have enough time for a little breakout. So I would pair you now with 2 to 3 people each, and take turns sharing your goals for this mentorship program. What is the top 1 1 to 3 things you want to achieve with that mentorship program. And if you have time, also discuss how these goals align with your organization mission and impact. Awesome. Cool. All right. So as said, like having these clear goals will help you. I hope you all had a good discussion already. Are there any questions, first of all, from your end regarding whatever we presented now about the resources and so on? We will share, of course, but are there any other questions? I didn't monitor the chat, to be honest, but no? Okay. Not so far. Okay. Well, then, okay. No. Somebody raised the hand, yeah. Feel free to speak up.
My name is Charles from Uganda. I run an organization called COSMA, Sustainable Road Development. So my question is, if an organization has 2 founders, is it possible even the second founder to join the program?
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
good. Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's definitely something, maybe you have one person who's really taking the lead in that mentorship program and who's also doing the introduction call and also preparing the organization overview. But whenever there are topics you want to discuss with both and you both have opinions on it or questions on it, just discuss it with your mentor. I think it's fine that also both of you join one of the mentor-mentee calls and to make the most out of it. But I would say that one is definitely in the lead for that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. I'll go over the next steps and the action to take. If you have any questions in between, you can also put them into the chat. So first of all, reach out to your mentor once you've received the connect email, which is mostly throughout this week. Then also take time to explore the resources and provide feedback if you have some. And keep also an eye on the feedback surveys for the next 3 and 6 month mark. Maybe if we have an hour second, I can also show you how the Mentee guide looks. It's basically a Notion page where we have an overview with all the resources, also questions you can ask to your mentor, more on strategic HR topics or more on operational HR topics. So that probably will help you to prepare. We will send that out, latest tomorrow. And if there's no question left, I'll give a second. No. Okay. Then thank you again for your time and also your dedication. We're excited to support you throughout that journey. And as said, please don't hesitate to reach out